So now we are officially live.
Hey,
What is up, YouTube? It's me, Mr. Pacos Chingasos, the one and only. Um, Thank you for tuning in to my fourth episode of my solo project. If you don't know that you won't know, I do have other episodes and I'll be making videos. So if you got me on Facebook or if you got me on Instagram, TikTok, anything like that, you know where to find it. You can find me on any form of social media. Today's a good episode. I got my good buddy Shilo Cordle with me, drummer of Corrosive Wrath, and we're gonna get into it and do some of this good old interviewing. So
oh yeah.
I'm gonna get right to just pulling up it on my Facebook and sharing.
Good old Facebook.
If you would like to share the shit out of it as well,
Yeah.
Pacos Chingasos. Fuck.
Whoa, dude, you got some paranormal stuff going on. Whoa, dude, you got some paranormal stuff going on. Dude, some damn ghosts up in this podcast. We done summoned some demons. That's what's up.
You're getting him going.
Oh my god.
What are you doing?
So that was on, and I was trying to figure out why it was on, and
What was on?
my right over speaker.
Oh my god.
Hey, did y'all read the sign that says I'm on air?
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck you.
Right now, what?
We are experiencing some technical difficulties.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Does this sound like that weird on your end too?
Yeah, I don't know. Actually.
Because that's the case, I'm gonna get fucking microphones. Still having. I just do not have some microphones,
your
yeah.
YouTube?
What?
Is it on your YouTube?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube page. I'm actually sharing it right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm pulling up the YouTubers, and we're gonna get this interview going.
Sweet.
Share feed. All right. Does it sound like that weird on your end too? Does it sound like that weird?
A little bit, but not horrible. Sweet.
All right. So now that we're officially set up, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good, man. Just living the dream, dude. Crazy ass shit going on, dude. Life in general, work, corrosive. Stepping on tax before I got here. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that, but yeah, dude. Just trying to get back into the swing of things, and other than that, just everything's going good for the music. Everything's going good in life. But this past few weeks, I've been having some weird off days, dude.
Yeah, what's been going on, man?
I can't even tell you, bro. I can't even explain it. Like, one moment I'll be good and rehearsing with the guys and doing the music stuff and just vibing, and then the next, it's like
You feel scatterbrained and foggy and
scatterbrained, foggy, glitchy. Reminiscing on like past stuff, which is kind of weird. Like, I don't do that often. I just kind of keep forward, but how can I explain it, dude? It's like flashes, like some Bray Wyatt shit.
Oh, okay.
Just envisioning a bunch of crazy shit. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what it means, but other than that, trucking forward.
Oh yeah, man.
Got a May 4th show coming up, man.
I'm excited about that. You wanna
Sick.
talk? So other than the other than the flash and the glitches and all that other stuff, man.
I don't know what the fuck all that shit is, man. I'm just vibing.
All right, let's get right into it, man. So,
What to do?
Corrosive Wrath's playing the Expo
Yeah.
on May 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to check out the rest of the Expo May 3rd or anything like that?
I'm thinking about it. I mean, it's a big deal for just every single artist here. We don't get that kind of love when it comes to local artists, when it's music or even movies or whatever. It's very hard to get that push. And this expo, from what I'm getting from it, it's going to showcase a lot of my friends and a lot of people I haven't even heard of here in town, and get to show more of the business side, which I'm not very familiar with. I mean, I did have a label with Seidel. We won't get into that. That was some horse shit. So when we tried to book a tour, when we tried to have somebody backing us, it's really hard to get that here in town. So I think this is the best way for these artists to showcase what they got, and then somebody can go up and be like, hey, we dig that, and work on the business side of things. And I'm really stoked and intrigued to find out who's going to be there, who's going to actually be like the promotion side of things, who's going to be interested, who's not going to be interested, because it's kind of that double-sided coin.
Yeah.
Some people might like this stuff, some people might not. But I am really stoked to perform the show. We haven't really hit the stage live for a minute since we announced the EP, LP kind of thing. We're still trying to figure it out, but we're still recording. We're still laying down tracks, and most of these tracks will be playing. So I'm excited to get back on stage again, though, because we've just kind of held off, done the rehearsing stuff, and working on new material on top of that. So we're just kind of stacking, getting our discography or even our creativity a little higher than what we've set it before. And we have a lot of crazy stuff coming around for the band too. Maybe a little bit of change in scenery, a little bit of change in direction when it comes to certain things we're trying to perform. Maybe in November or two. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
I can't say very much on that neither. It's going to be one of those, hey guys, I'm here, but I don't know what the hell's going on kind of episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I understand completely. So, like you said earlier, you didn't want to get too much into Seidel, but I think a lot of people kind of want to understand like your point of view on what happened with Seidel. And I know after hearing other stories and other things, it's one of those things where it's like it didn't work out, but it seems like each one of y'all went y'all's respective way and did your own thing. So I mean, if you just want to touch just a little bit on that, kind of, because I know once Seidel did, once y'all's respective way, I know that Corrosive came right after that. So if you just want to just kind of just
Yeah, because a lot of people do pull me aside that knows me from Seidel, which first things first, let me just put this on the record and put the damn steak on the plate. I'm still good with all those guys. I still talk with Killface. I still talk with Trey. Still talk with Jeff. It was just timing, I guess. Gospels of Gore, we started recording. It was a very, very big album for us, that last album I did with them. And it was all us, too. We didn't have Lovato Records behind us. We didn't have anybody telling us to perform this way or do it that way or let's mix it this way.
Mhm.
It was just all our ideas. And once we got back from the Lovato stuff and we realized the tour didn't go the way we wanted it to, we were all just a bunch of pissed off dudes. We were like, let's just write music. And it went from 2 songs to 5 songs to what we were like setting on like 20 songs. And then Jeffrey was like, well, fuck it, dude. Let's just put everything we got on this bitch. And it was wild. The recording process was wild. We had Rob, who is guitarist and vocalist of Corrosive Wrath, come in and help us with the recording. And it was fun times. then it was also very, very dark and very crazy times. And during the recording process is when this whole pandemic bullshit hit. So we were really heavy on recording and getting together and rehearsing, and then out of nowhere, we couldn't see each other. We were trying to spitball ideas to one another, and once the world kind of came to and we got back into a room together, the ideas we were setting on, in my opinion, kind of caused a little bit of butting heads, some creative differences, definitely. But we were still pulling out tracks. We were still trying to put shows together. We were very lucky to have enough time after the pandemic to get a hold of the guys in 806 and record a music video for Red Rum, which we didn't think was going to happen. But with Jeffrey's connections, he got a hold of them. But everything just kind of spiraled. We released the album. We only technically played one show for it. And then just creative differences just kind of got in the way. And then respectfully, one member left and then the other member left. And I don't like talking about this part a lot because it's nothing against anybody else in the band, especially a lot of people are like, dude, one person had this to say about the other. It wasn't really like that. It was just, we were very angry about certain things, and that anger clashed during the recording process. And when certain members left, I was like, well, what do I want to do? So it took a little bit for me to realize that I was just in a very, what's the word I can use? A very blank space in my life, to where drumming didn't even come to me. I was just like, you know what? I need to hold off. I need to worry about my family, worry about my friends, worry about myself, worry about my job, get some more money, blah, 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 blah. This American dream, they so call. And then I made the decision to go on ahead and just kind of hold off. I didn't play drums for anyone. I didn't want to play drums for anyone. And my announcement to certain members that were wanting to keep this thing going was kind of iffy. I'm like, okay, whatever. But later on down the line, a few months go by, I start missing it, and I start having certain people hit me up, and then I hear from Rob, and I hear from Jeff, and we tried to start Seidel back up with Kenny, our bass player, and was trying to set up a Seidel 2.0 with Jeff, with this current project I'm in now. And again, we got together. It was fun times. We were jamming and just creative differences. Jeff was doing his Jeffrey Neurotic stuff, which I'm super stoked for. He's got some big stuff coming up soon. I have a gut feeling he's going to be performing with some of his heroes, and that makes me happy. Jeff was in a very dark place at that time as well. A lot of stuff going on personally and mentally with everyone. But Jeff had a very crazy time during Gospels of Gore for sure. So I'm happy he's in a better headspace. All of them. I mean, Trey's doing Trench Rat, City In with Killface. They're all in their own little music spots, and they did it very quickly afterwards. Mm-hmm. Me, I sat on it for a little bit. I was like, I don't want to get behind the kid. But the love for it and just how much it helps me with just everything in life in general. We started the Seidel 2.0 stuff. We started recording songs that were for Seidel are now for Corrosive, and we just started noticing that the music was a lot heavier than what we were doing with Seidel. We had the new metal aspect, but then we started doing stuff that was kind of really hard to write with Jeff, with his flow and his rap style, and then we just started getting more faster and faster with stuff. So it was a mutual agreement. We told Jeff, we were like, hey man, what do you want to do with this? And luckily Jeff was like, you know what, y'all do your own thing. I'm going to go on ahead and start working with Tree Life a lot more. Get some help from 806 and Eli, and now he's going his own direction. And like I said before, man, he's got some big stuff heading this way.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we're at now. Corrosive was kind of birthed out of what we had with Seidel, which I had 5 great years with Seidel, man, on and off. And a lot of people know me through that instead of Age of Heresy, which is crazy because I still have people like, hey, we remember you and your brother and your friends in Age of Heresy, but everybody knows me as Seidel's drummer, Sticks, if you will. Which I guess you can say is kind of gone and buried. I put a stake in that whenever Seidel broke. But Corrosive is just a different ball game, man. I have a lot more freedom and a lot more say on what I'm feeling when it comes to certain beats and how I write with Rob and Kenny. And it's just fucking wild, man. We got Mike in for samples and keyboards, and the rest is history, dude. Like, these shows we've been playing, just insane the amount of freedom I have now because I can go up. And with Seidel, it was one of those things to where I knew Joe, shout outs to Joe. He was their drummer before, and I was very nervous on joining Seidel at the time because Killface and Trey got a hold of me and said, hey, come rehearse. I was like, okay, cool. And then the first thing I thought of was, what the fuck is Joe going to think? Because I'm homies with him. So I got a hold of him out of respect and was like, dude, I'm going to join Seidel. Hope I have your blessing. Like, I'm going to make sure that your songs previously, I put your love into it, your beats, but then add my own flair into it. Because I do notice me and Joe's got a very different drumming style. And that's wonderful, man, because Joe's a very tight drummer. They just had their first show with his new group, Atomic Cheesecake, and I've seen footage from that show, and he's ripping it, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. I was there.
I was like, wow,
I got to enjoy it.
crazy.
Before you go any further, if you don't know, Joe and myself, we do another podcast that you can find on Facebook. It's called the Three Amigos Podcast. We do a podcast every Saturday, 7 p.m. We interview bands in our local town. We're looking to expand out, but right now, local is where it's at. So to anybody who is watching or anybody that's watching in the future, be on the lookout for Facebook Three Amigos Podcast. We might be your cup of tea, we might not, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I hope you enjoy this podcast and any other future podcasts that we do. But shout out to Joe and the Atomic Cheesecake.
Yes. Stoked to get on the stage with those guys for the first time.
So. Oh, yeah, I believe you'll be doing it on May 4th.
Yeah, they did just recently get added with that project, and they got some news that they will be announcing very, very soon. I talked to Steve-O. Shout out to you. I know you're working. My bad, bro. I tried to send you the link. It is what it is. But they got some news coming up about some shows and stuff. So I'm pretty stoked to see where they go.
I know they're on the flyer for the trip to the morgue.
Yeah.
So that show was Atomic Cheesecake, Discarcia, and Corrosive Wrath.
I just technically got word for this show. I wasn't really aware about it until a couple of days ago. So yeah, we have that show coming up. I'm not even sure about the date. Sorry, but we have that booked, and then we have May 4th, of course, and we're working on an EP, man, and it's connected all back to where we started from with Age of Heresy, going into Seidel, and then where we went with Seidel. This is the most fun I've had on a project in a long, long time. So I'm stoked to get the project out there. Our 3 singles currently are on YouTube. We're planning on getting some more recognition and uploading to like Spotify and maybe Apple Music to make sure y'all get it digitally out there, because YouTube can be a pain when it comes to certain things, as you know. But other than that, that's where we're at, dude. That's where I'm at musically. kind of hit me in the feels whenever Saddle broke, and I kind of set down the sticks, but I can't give it up, dude.
Right.
I had to come up with something, and here I am.
Oh yeah, well,
jamming again.
I'm glad you're jamming. I'm glad you're back at it, man. And I'm also glad you're sitting here. I'm gonna tell you something right now. If no one tells you they're excited to see you today, just know that I am.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
You know, that's some mutual love. And if you're watching right now and you're just like, oh, this guy.
You know what I mean? So,
out of respect, though.
I do have some questions for you.
Yeah,
So before I get into these questions, to the viewers, if you read the description and it says my brother, my good friends, my good everything, just know me and this guy have known each other for a real long time. And I went to school with his brother. I believe you graduated a year before we did. Because you and Shay are what, a year apart?
Yeah, we're actually 2 years apart.
Okay,
so
you probably graduated when we were
2010 is when I graduated from Tascosa. My birthday is May 22nd, 92, so I'm going to be turning 33 in a few weeks. And then he was born in 94 on July 1st. So we're about roughly 2 years.
Okay. So, like you said, it's been my good friend for years, man. It's always good to see Shilo when I get the chance to. And, I've sat in on a couple of Corrosive Wrath jams, and I can tell you right now, there's some big stuff coming with Corrosive Wrath.
Yeah.
And so anyway, man, I gotta ask you these questions just because, these are questions that I write out for my podcast and each individual that I do interview. So if they sound cliche, I think they're good questions, but if they sound cliche,
Go ahead, man. A good question's a good question. I can just promise y'all a fucked up answer.
And so, if you don't know, real quick, before I ask these questions, we've had Corrosive Wrath on the Three Amigos podcast. Now, when we ask these questions, we ask each individual member of the band, but we don't ever really get the full backstory with the individual. So that's where my podcast comes in. So he's about to elaborate on any answer that he's about to give. There's going to be straight from the gut, straight from the heart, from Shilo Cordle himself.
Man, it's going to be interesting.
Yes, sir. All right, so the first question I'm going to ask you is describe your musical background and how it got started.
Oh, geez. I guess we can go back to my parents. Shout out to my mom, Stephanie, and my dad, Charles. Everybody knows them as Mama and Papa Cordle. Late 70s, 80s babies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they were growing up and they were in high school, they were always into like big hair bands, and then that transferred into Metallica and then Slayer and then heavier stuff around that time. And then I'm hoping I wasn't conceived to a Slayer album, because if so, that would be cool, but it's but I mean, their love together, and ta-da, here I am. And then ta-da, a couple of years later, here's my brother. They're just big music fans like I was, man. My mom played in orchestra and played violin, viola for years. My dad was into guitar and was always trying to pick up stuff. So low key behind the scenes, my family was always into like some kind of form of music. And when we grew up, early 90s in our household, surprisingly, was always 90s country. So we'd be running around the house destroying stuff, and me beating on little snare drums, little Fisher snare drums and shit, while jamming to like Garth Brooks or George Strait or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
CMT was always on in the house. So you would always have like the watermelon crawl. Yeah, it was always that shit, dude. But
if you drink, don't drive.
Yeah,
The watermelon
yeah,
crawl.
Funny story about that. My parents actually got to meet Tracy Bird when I was little. They met him at a signing at one of our local Walmarts here.
Oh, nice.
So I guess he was promoting an album, And he was sitting there. They didn't have anything for him to sign. So they get up to the table to meet him, thank him for his music, blah, 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 blah. And lo and behold, the only thing they had was in my mom's freaking bag, and it was one of my diapers. They were just like, this is fucking weird, but here's a freaking Huggies right here. It's our boys. Can you sign it? And this motherfucker signed. I have a Tracy Bird signed diaper. Who the fuck can say that, bro?
You know,
That's insane, man.
I got one for you.
Oh shit.
So a few years ago, I went to Dallas and I got to see went to a live meet and greet with Gary Holt.
Oh,
at
nice.
a guitar shop in Dallas
Yeah.
before Slayer played. And I pissed him off because I asked him a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, do you know the May I Help You riff from Wayne's World?" Just to try to get a laugh. Yeah, no, he was not having it. Well, when I got up to get his autograph, I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "I don't have anything for you to sign." I was like, "Can you sign my job's business card?" So
Nice.
I have a Gary Holt signed business card, and then I got a picture of Gary Holt, and he signed that too. I showed that, but it was
Hell yeah.
it's one of those things. It's like when you meet famous people, you got random stuff. It's like, "Hey man, I know this is gonna sound dumb, but can you sign this?"
See, I think you won though, because you got the picture. I think Tracy Bird was traumatized, and he's like, "I ain't taking a picture with you two. Get the fuck out of here!" Like, I still have his signature on a fucking Barney diaper, bro. It's like,
do they still have the diapers to this day?
As far as I know, yes. My mom still brings it up to this fucking day too. Like,
that's funny.
It's crazy. So to connect on with that, that's the sound of growing up.
Right.
We get into like my mid-teens, middle school. I tell people, and it still blows their mind, like I was still big in the country, but I give credit to my little brother Shay. Shout out to Shay if you're watching. I love you, dog. He kind of took me into the route of the more rock metal stuff. Right around this time, mid 2000s. So of course on the radio you're hearing everything from like 3 Days Grace, Seether, Nickelback, with arms wide open. Yeah, so that was always in the household.
Oh.
Yeah, that was always in the household. Some of those bands I can rock with. Some of them I can rock with. I'm not gonna lie.
6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking.
Yeah. God damn it. Maybe 6 feet is not far down enough. Anyway. I just remember coming home one day, and my brother went to Hastings, RIP, R.I.P., and he ended up purchasing some albums, and it was over from there, man, because I want to say one was like Korn's Greatest Hits, other one was Iowa from Slipknot, and then we got like freaking Sepultura and Hymn and Cradle of Filth, and then it just went boom, 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 more heavier, more dominant from there. And by the time I hit high school, dude, I'm listening to bands like Behemoth and Dying Fetus and 6 Feet Under. And right out of high school is when we ended up starting Age of Heresy. My brother was on guitar, and it was mostly a few of his friends, but I knew of them because they were childhood friends. So we got together, we started jamming, and came up with this, what I would say, thrash progressive project. Went more metalcore later on down the line, and started playing our first shows. We had a friend of ours that was like, "Man, you need to look up the War Legion. They're going into this other thing called 12052 Event Center, and they're bringing big bands in. Man, if y'all get like locked in and get a tight set, y'all come out and open up for some bands." And we had the privilege of seeing some of our favorite metal bands like Dying Fetus and 6 Feet Under. If y'all deep dive into my Facebook, the most goofy fucking picture you will ever see is me with Chris Barnes from Cannibal and 6 Feet. I don't know what happened with that picture, but my eyes are in the back of my head like Undertaker. I don't know what the fuck happened. It is what it is, and Chris looks gnarly as shit. We've gotten to see Abigail Williams. We've gotten to see After the Burial, and I was listening to a lot of that stuff in middle school and just branching out. So now getting to where we're at, I'm just so mixed with genres. I've played so many different genres and bands. Age of Heresy broke up in between, or when I left Age of Heresy at the time. They branched out, got different members, still played shows. I was kind of dabbling into setting in and rehearsing with different cover bands and stuff like that. I set in with groups like Jack Mustard when he was doing his stuff. I played a couple of shows with him. I was in a classic rock, kind of alternative radio rock band for a little bit called Cadillac Ranchers. And I was definitely the young buck in that group, but still had some fun. I played in Vision Scarred a little bit, and that was more of your kind of metal that I listened to when I was a kid, like new metal stuff and Seven Dust and Slipknot. We rehearsed a lot of that stuff, and that fell through. And then shortly after, I was like, okay, so I need to find something. And then that's when I did my 5 years with Seidel. That's a very dark new metal project. I kind of mixed in a lot of metalcore. It was huge in metalcore from late middle school going into high school. So I was really big on bands like Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, Lorna Shore, if you count that, because they were roughly later on. But I just gravitated to those bands, just the really fast, heavy, gnarly fry and guttural vocals, but also had the breakdowns, very fast blast beats and double bass. That was just my thing. It got me through a lot of shit too, like just that aggression. I'd go to school and be pissed off one day and play some freaking Phil Bozeman and the story was done.
Yeah.
So I gravitate to a lot of those bands, but I have so much music from my life dating back to the freaking 90s country. Like just anything that gravitated towards me, any kind of beat or any kind of lyric that I remember as a kid, it transfers into what I am now as an adult, and it's still the same stuff. I really haven't really branched out other than I find new artists that kind of have that same vibe and I just go with it. And right now I'm all over the place. I can be listening to metalcore and then I can go back into outlaw country and then I'll go into freaking some underground rap. You've gotten me listening to freaking Wu-Tang like crazy the past few months. I've been jamming nothing but Wu-Tang and Old Dirty Bastard. I've even been doing like Mobb Deep and MF Doom. So I've been kind of vibing on stuff like that. When it comes to drumming though, I mean, of course, Joey. And Joey was always a big influence on me. We just celebrated what would have been his 50th birthday, dog.
Mm-hmm.
And
I seen that the other day. I was like,
blows my fucking mind that it's been that long. But just Joey's style, and of course, like with Seidel, the new metal vibe, I was always drawn to like the look, the masks, the aggressiveness of their playing. And then I don't know, man, just any kind of drummer that's got like, when you hear one single note from them, you just know who's behind the kit. So, Neil Peart from Rush, Dana from freaking Tool. You sit down, you hear something from them, and you just know who it is. I've always gravitated towards drummers like that.
It's like one of the most iconic drummers, and you just know when he starts playing is Dave Lombardo.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, if there's a Mount Rushmore, I know Dave Lombardo is on that list.
Mm-hmm. Dave Lombardo. There's even new kids out right now that I've been kind of dissecting and learning their new style. Whether you love them or hate them, I really personally think that the drummer Sleep Token 2, whatever the fuck he's called, he's a very stylistic drummer. I absolutely love. I'm blanking on his name. I think it's Alex from Lorna Shore. That kid is insane. I've gotten the privilege to see Lorna Shore when Tom Barber was still in the band. We got to see him open up for Deicide and Hate Eternal out in Lubbock a few years ago. And just the way the first snare hit is always just pop, and then it's fucking nuts how quick and how responsive and how clean his drumming is. And then another drummer that's slept on that I absolutely love is 666 Samus. I watch his YouTube videos all the time. He's fucking hilarious. I've gotten to see him perform live before with Abigail Williams, and just he motivates me to be that kind of a drummer, just a badass drummer on the kit, still willing to learn different styles. Like, I'm not just trying to be the fucking I don't want to be that guy, even though that's what our style calls for. But he's always really funky, and he's very bluesy. He's always been very vocal on him having a jazzy kind of bluish background with some of his drumming. And he's just a fucking nutcase. He's hilarious.
Right.
So you get to watch one of his videos, and then out of nowhere, he's just like fucking wigging out Jim Carrey style shit. And it reminds me of me. That's just who I am. I'll be drumming, performing, getting into it, and then you've seen it during jams and shit. Yeah. I'll just fucking woo, or I'll just fucking throw out some weird inflatable shit while I'm playing, just goofy ass shit.
One of the funniest things that I'll see that you do is like you'll be going and you accidentally drop a drumstick and you kind of get this.
Yeah.
You know, you get that like, oh no, when you saw that look.
Did anybody see that shit? Just no. No, okay.
But it's like you'll still be going and you're just real slow, just I've been doing this the whole time. You know, so I get it with the goofiness. Like I've seen it a few times and I'm just like, you know?
But yeah, that's my inspiration. Just anybody that just is very soulful and very passionate, not only on the kit, but outside of the kit. Like a passionate and soulful person behind the kit is definitely going to vibe with what they do as a musician and as a performer. And I've gotten to experience a lot of different styles, a lot of different characters, if you will, behind the kit, especially with Seidel. That's the most theatrical, fun, but yet very dark and twisted persona, I guess you can say, that I've had behind the kit. And it worked for that project. Like, it brought out that vibe. And like even with Cadillac Ranchers, I was the young buck, but I was wearing like black Dickies button-ups. And sometimes there's footage out there. If y'all find it, go ahead, tell me how crazy it is. I don't care. But there's performances in that band where I'm wearing a fucking cowboy hat. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, I got into the style, I got into the vibe.
Now I gotta find it.
I'll send it to you. You can upload it later. You can be like, look at this guy.
So I'm not gonna do that to you. This is just strictly for me to watch. I'm not gonna let no one else see that.
If I find it, I'll re-upload it.
Yeah. So if you upload it, you do that. But I just want to see it for myself. And honestly, man, you already answered the next two questions that I was gonna ask with that one answer. So
it's because I just don't shut the fuck up.
No, man. Honestly. So this is what I like. This is kind of like us just sitting here talking. You know, This right here this is why I don't know if you can tell the vibe, but this solo project is way different than how I do the Three Amigos. It's like with the Three Amigos, it's like I have a joke or I can make, it's like I can chime in this and that. This one is like, even though we do serious, we try to do a serious interview with the bands. 9 times out of 10, it's just us fucking off because we're already having a good time. We know these guys, so we're just, at this point in time, we're just there to laugh and hang out, man. And we got it streamed. And so
it's definitely more heartfelt too. Like, again, we've known each other for so damn long.
Oh, you're
and even outside of this podcast. Like the moment that camera shuts off, we're going to experience a lot more later on down the line. So the fourth podcast I come on is going to be completely different from what you see here. So I enjoy it a lot more. And don't get me wrong, the appearances we've had with Corrosive Wrath, and even when I sat down with you and talked with you during the whole Sidle era and shit, it's always kind of a little bit more call and response, because you say something and then each individual person's going to have like some kind of idea or thought, which is great. I mean, as a group, as a collective, it's either going to match or it's going to be slightly different. Here I can just tell you exactly how I felt about everything and kind of pour my heart and soul out into it, which I vibe more on. Like, again, I started off the podcast saying that everything's going good, but there's just kind of there's a little bit of a shift in how I'm vibing with the whole corrosive stuff and how I'm presenting myself, and where that goes, we'll see.
And so, you know what I mean? It's like I said, with, like you said, with the vibe and everything. So it's like I try to be funny on this one, but it's more along the lines of like how I do this solo podcast versus how I do 3 videos is like I get to sit down one-on-one with any individual, whether it's rapper, wrestler, rocker, gamer, comedian. You know, it's like if you watch my video, I said all those things. This is just my chance, because it's like, even though we're such great friends and stuff, it gives me a chance to it's like, man, let me get to know you a little bit. Let me know. It's like, let me know, let them know, whoever's watching know. And it's kind of like, let's say one day this podcast takes off, and, you know, further down the line, next you know, someone comes up, they're like, hey, man, seeing you on the Three Amigos podcast, I didn't know your inspirations were just like mine, and I didn't know that you and I do this. So it's like, that's why I like doing this podcast, where I sit and listen, let you go. Like I said, you can go talk as long as you want. I'll sit here and listen. I'll chime in here and there, but
see, after knowing this guy for like a decade, I know for a fact he did not know that Tracy Bird signed one of my fucking baby underwears. You know what I mean? So there you go.
That is like, new information.
Something that you probably didn't even know. Like that's what I'm loving about this. Is I can just kind of state whatever I'm feeling at the time, but the questions are always going to be direct and fun, and it's not a call and response thing. I can actually kind of sit back, relax, and be like, what do I want to say about that? Or what can I say? Or what do I not want to say to you guys about that? Like, don't get me wrong, I love you guys, but time out on certain things, man. You don't have to be out here like telling your whole like love story on this bitch. You know what I mean? So
I will let it be known right now. And I'll let it be known in other podcasts or further episodes that I do. There's 2 things that Mr. Paco will not talk about on his podcast, and I will shut that down real quick. Politics and religion. I don't give a fuck what you're into. As we can sit here and talk music like friends and have a good time, that's all I care about. I don't care about your political views, and I don't care about what religion you're into. That's 2 things. That's the only 2 things that I will not talk about on this podcast.
To add on to that, like, I mean, kind of touch base on it a little bit. Like, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not going to tell you what I believe and don't believe in. I just know that if I focus in on what I believe and be the person that I want to be in whatever higher power we might see, it could be freaking Elon Musk up there controlling everything. Who the fuck knows? But as long as I get up there and I am able to eventually see you later on down the road and everyone else down the road, then that's what should matter. If it's just black and that's it, at least I knew who the fuck was actually real and true to me. And I put my time and effort in my heart and soul and my family and my real true friends. And that's all that should matter, bro.
Hell yeah. That's how I see it. That's why I won't you know what I mean? I won't let that type of hatred in any form of way on here. I'm not like, I'm a hateful individual, because when I'm angry, I lose my shit and I do that. But I won't let that control how I do anything creatively. I'll just leave that. I keep that to myself, and I'm not hateful in like a bad way. It's one of those lines of like, I see a lot of things, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. But it's just, I'm stuck in my ways, and you know, I am what I am, and honestly, you know, like I have a good time with having a good time doing this is one of those things that I really love enjoying. If you watch any of my other episodes, I'm real nervous. I'm real nervous doing these because, like I said, in the Three Amigos, I can look to Joe, I can look to Chris, and I'm like, hey man, I'm struggling out here. I need one of y'all to say something. This one, it's all me. I have to be on my P's and Q's, and
Right.
so I get real nervous interviewing my friends and stuff. It's like Justin, last episode, Justin Fennell was like, man, you're doing great.
Yep.
You're doing great. He's like, I'm having a good time. This is great. And everything like that. So like this episode, man, I don't feel any nervous. I don't feel anything at all. I just, like I said, I get to kick it with my buddy, and I get to know more things about my buddy that I didn't know.
And see, I think that's the cool thing though, because I did end up watching most of the interview with Justin before I got over here, and he basically during that interview was like, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. Just make it like we were just shooting the shit, and that's all this is. Like it's really, us shooting the shit, and I haven't seen any nerves. I haven't gotten any nerves. Like it's just us just talking about what the hell's going on." And I vibe on it, dude.
Well, it's also the fact that they're getting to know you as well. That's one thing. It's like if anybody's willing to come on this podcast, it's like I just want you to know, not only are us forming a bond because I'm asking these questions because I want to get to know you. You're also getting to know whoever's watching.
Right.
And I think I'm gonna keep doing it this way, where I don't really look at the camera very often because I think it sounds better. I think it looks better, and it's better because it's like I get to get that general connection. So I think I'm gonna start doing it like this, and I might just not do it with microphones either because I think I think this is more.
Can everybody hear us okay at least? This is his first run through this way. So is anybody up here saying hi? Is anybody telling me to fuck off? What's going on? Other than that, love you guys. Sounds pretty damn good to me. I don't know about you. Can everybody hear us okay?
Yeah, so I mean, so far now, I believe this is why we have one viewer, and I believe that viewer is me. But hear me out. I believe the only reason why we have one viewer at the moment is because it is Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
People are still at work. But that doesn't mean that this episode will sit at one view. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
We're
for sure.
We can share the shit out of all of this. And like I said, man, as of right now, starting out, this is actually technically this would be my second season, but I decided in the first Pacos Chingasos, because if you go back, I do have about 5 episodes. I have 2 live on locations at Southwest Kansas Independent Lucha Libre in Dodge City, Kansas, which is shout out to Skill.
Oh yeah.
I also have episodes of the Bomb City Bar Fights where Trench Rat is playing. So, and I've also interviewed Handgun Dan, owner of the Bomb City Bar Fights. I've also interviewed DB Cooper from the Bomb City Bar Fight. So I mean, I do have other episodes. They're just not as those were my first prototypes getting back into it. And now that I'm doing this solo, I feel more confident than I did then when I was doing them then than I am now. Like I'm confident now in these episodes.
Right.
So I would love to get back and interview my buddy Dan again and interview DB
Shout out to
Cooper.
Dan. That was a cool motherfucker right there.
Oh yeah, Handgun Dan, man.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the bar fights. And May 3rd on the Expo, West Lakes Expo, I believe the bar fights will be at the Rockwell Event Center.
Fucking A.
But
it's gonna be sick.
Oh yeah, so let's move on to another question.
Yeah, hit me.
So this one right here is can you describe a challenging performance experience and how you handled it?
Yes. Show at House Bar just a few months ago. Didn't realize that I had injured my ankle during the performance. So to elaborate on that, we got on, we set up because there's no stage out there. We set up, performed a very intimate house bar show. A lot of people ended up showing up that night too. So it was packed. Mosh pits were going down. Heavy stuff, right? I ended up getting done with the set and start packing up my drum set and realized that my ankle was like swelling pretty badly. And I ended up getting it checked out, and apparently I slightly dislocated it.
Oh shit!
Shifted my ankle a little bit.
God dang.
How I handled it is I played the fucking show and didn't even realize until I got done. I was walking around. I'm like, dude, my fucking ankle hurts.
Was it like adrenaline? Do you feel adrenaline when you're playing the shows? Or
Yeah.
is it like just
Yeah. It really depends on the vibe. And with House Bar is a very small bar here in town, but if you get quite a bit of people to show up, it's very intimate. Like there's no stage. You have basically a fireplace and TVs behind you. And then just to keep from people running into Kenny and Rob and Mike and myself from not killing us, they had just a normal like bike railing right in front of us. And there was a couple of people that had incidents or were pushed, and one lady ended up falling into the railing and like hit her face. It was fucking wild, bro. But the adrenaline of that, yeah, like I hope you're okay, ma'am, wherever you were, and fix your nose because apparently she busted up her nose pretty good.
Yeah.
But other than that, dude, yeah, you see that and it's like right in front of you compared to like another show that I can bring up is when I was with Age of Heresy, the biggest stage I have ever played was at Inklife Festival at the Civic Center. This was roughly around the first time they did it. So it wasn't underneath Ink Masters like it is now. It was like officially Ink Life Tour Studio. Ink Master was a big sponsor at that time. So if you watched the show, they were bringing a lot of the reality TV show artists there. I got to meet Clint Cummings from like season 2 or 3.
I think he passed away now.
Tragically, he passed away. He ended up having cancer. So rest in peace to him. Wasn't lucky enough to get any work done by Clint, but he's a really cool dude. But yeah, Age of Heresy got to play on that stage for a Battle of the Bands thing, and a lot of local artists from the War Legion got the chance to share the stage and open up for Grind, which was a Alice in Chains tribute band that was really big.
Oh, nice.
So they were the main headliner, but they had a Battle of the Bands. We were a part of it and got pretty close up there. Legendary local band in the scene, Smells Like Someone Died, ended up winning it that year. And it was really cool to see all those guys just on that big stage at the Civic Center with roughly hundreds of people that were at the convention. So that was nerve-wracking because at first I was like, dude, it's a bunch of freaking tattoo artists and a bunch of security. There's not going to be that many people out there and stuff like that. And then when they opened up the venue to the stage for everybody to like come up and watch us perform, that's when you realize, oh, they're not getting tattoos, they're watching us. And you see just hundreds of people right in front of the stage, and you're like, oh god.
It's like, well, shit.
Yeah, and but then again, it was nerve-wracking because we were so young at the time. I think I was only like 21 or 22 when that happened. And so that kind of gives you a perspective. Shay was just about to turn 20 right around that time. So we're still roughly out of high school trying to get our name across. And we played the show. When we got on stage, it was just, again, the adrenaline. I got the vibe from Shay. I got it from Jamie. I got it from, I think, at the time, Trey was in the band. Riley might have been in the band. And then there was one other member, and I'm slipping because we had so much member changes in that. So whoever you are, I'm sorry. But
was it Kevin?
I don't think it was Kevin because Trey was doing bass at the time.
Oh, okay.
I think it might have been Tanner, aka Pelkid, was on rhythm guitars along with Shay at the time. So I think that was our lineup. But man, it was crazy to get off that stage and be that excited was really cool. So that was another challenging thing, is the injury and then just being in front of that many people. And it kind of opened me into trying to progress and do bigger shows, whether it's 5 people like we had in San Diego when we toured with Seidel. Our very first show out in San Diego, we only played for like maybe 5 people. or 100 or whether it's 1,000, I have a feeling that that entity, that urge and that anxiousness of, oh my God, it's definitely going to be there. But the moment I get on stage and I get behind the kit, it's either I kind of zone out or I just get into my head and I figure out, okay, this is where I'm at. This is how I need to perform. And I feel like as a performer and as a drummer myself, depending on how many people are there or what kind of event we're at, like for 420 Fest last year, I was pretty mellow. Let's just say that. I was pretty mellow. But I was able to vibe out and just have a really great set compared to opening up for like a big metal band at a local show. That's when I get more aggressive and just kind of let it out and just get more deeper to the performance. Crack some sticks or break some cymbals or something like that. I haven't broken a drum head in a long time, which is, don't jinx that. But yeah, man, just the vibe and yeah, just the vibe on the show.
So did you break some sticks at the what show? At the Zombies Bar and Grill?
Oh God. Yeah, I think I broke 3 pair. I think I broke 3 pair just because there was a lot of aggression I had before that show. It was just a very stressful week. And then I wasn't.
Kind of a stressful night, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a very stressful week, very stressful night. But with that being said, I started looking into what I wasn't really familiar with that project until we got announced to open up for them. And those guys were so fucking cool, and they were so excited to see us and see what we were about. And we set up, we played. And if I remember correctly, weather was kind of shit, so we were inside. So it was definitely a lot more intimate in Zombies because they're kind of a smaller bar as well. But the people that were there enjoyed it, and then I just let everything go and destroyed a bunch of stuff. I thought about catching cymbals on fire. I haven't done that in a long time. But yeah, broke, I think, like 3 pairs of sticks that night. Just demolished them. One of them completely broke and like almost flew up and got stuck in the ceiling. It's fucking wild, man. It was fucking nuts.
It's one of those good. It's one of those good times, man. I had the pleasure of joining you guys on stage for Illusions.
Yeah.
That's one thing that it's not a secret anymore. If you've seen Corrosive Wrath, they call a certain mass figure up, and yo soy is him.
I can confirm to you right now, at this very moment in time, we know that he will probably show up and be at the West Texas Expo on May 4th with us. I just don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who he is. All I know is he sounds like a fucking pterodactyl, and that's cool. He's very brutal, a little horny, if you will. But yeah, dude, he's pretty fucking sick. Y'all definitely got to check it out. And Rob's pretty close with him. I don't know how. It's like fucking Spider-Man and Mary Jane, apparently. But yeah, he knows them, and he's gonna probably end up recording Illusion with us. So we're gonna be featured by this person, which is a big deal. We really haven't announced it, but that track will have a feature from this gentleman, this entity, whatever you may say. But yeah, dude, that's one of my favorite songs to perform because of how aggressive and how funky and how weird that song is. The verses are very weird, playful, kind of very circus-y on the drums, and then it just beats your face in at the end.
Yep.
And it's one of those things. We brought up the question of what's the most challenging thing other than playing injured. I think the challenging thing is playing the song like Illusions or going from a song like to bring up Seidel, going from a set list to where we play a very intimate, very passionate, and very dark, gloomy song like Ugly, and then go straight into Choke Fuck afterwards. You gotta get that mindset in.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm sad boy, depressed, and I don't to I'm
about the hate.
yeah, exactly. It's a very weird mindset when it comes to performing and getting into that zone. So that's the most challenging thing, is knowing what kind of performance and what kind of style and what kind of mental, physical, and sometimes, depending on vocals, even verbal stuff you have to say to get that point across. And for me, it's always been, you get on stage and you vibe out, and then you know that this next song's coming on the set, and then you just kind of trigger it. You're like, okay, this is how I want to be during this performance, or this is how I want to be during a performance. Another single that we've dropped that's on YouTube is American Parasite. We kind of consider that almost a ballad for Corrosive. It's a very slow and gloomy song, but it's a very dark message on just how everything is so corrupt and how everything is so, I wouldn't say generic, but just everything you see now when it comes to media or publicity, it's the same shit over and over, but people are giving into it. And sometimes it's stuff that you don't need to give into.
Right.
Because all it's going to do later on down the line is break relationships or mold something darker in you. And that song is still heavy in its own, but it's more me behind the kit, kind of sad in a way. I'm very sad when I perform that song because I know the meaning and I know the backstory on the lyrics. And the visual video that we did for American Parasite that's up on YouTube, Rob kind of gave me the go ahead of, hey, I got the MP3 here. I want to set up a visual or maybe a lyric video. And I was kind of vibing and kind of thinking, okay, our name's Corrosive Wrath. The song's about corruption and leading us down a darker path. So I instantly thought like apocalyptic zombies or just something melting. I thought about the pandemic and COVID and how alone everybody was. So he gave me the privilege of setting up the video, the visual video for that, and I ended up finding a AI generated app. Just plugged in what I wanted to see, and it came out really well for what I was actually feeling. I heard it back. I put the MP3 on it. I added our logos, and I hit play, and I was like, "Yo, okay." This is exactly what I want. I didn't even have to go into anywhere else. Where another thought, it just fit the music really well, and it's kind of funny when we play the song now. I will have that visual in my head, just how dark and decrepit everything is, and just how decayed the buildings are, and I think the way I layered that video is it moves forward towards you, but then towards the end of the song, it moves back like a reverse. And how I did that is the song starts kind of very gloomy, and then it gets heavy, and then it's very kind of ballad tribal-esque. And then towards the ass end of the song, it's very dark, like this is what's coming to you. So when I did the AI video, I kind of decided, okay, right when we get to this point after Rob's solo, we get back into the bridge. I reversed the video to kind of come back to, but it's still very dark and decrepit. It's just reversed. So I've gotten a lot of comments on that on, yo, why did you do that? And it's because that's how the song is you're seeing this very dark image coming forward to you. But then when we get darker with the music, it's a step back on, okay, this is what was coming to you. And now we're showing you how dark and aggressive it's going to be. So that was really cool to experience and to get a chance to kind of be more visual and be more mindful instead of just playing the drums, doing the beat. I was able to kind of showcase what that song was actually meant to be.
Cool, yeah. we get all these other questions. All the other questions kind of just
Yeah. So we vibing.
I'm just gonna throw the rule book out the window.
Fucking A, dude.
My guy here is wearing a Joe Hendry shirt,
Oh,
so
shit.
we're gonna get right into some wrestling. A good time is with my buddy Shilo here is well, I think Shilo didn't go to this one, but a while back ago I had WWE tickets and I put it on Facebook. I was like, hey, anybody want to go check out the WWE event?
Mm-hmm.
First person to hit me up was like Shay. He was like,
Yep.
I want to go, and I was like, bet I'll come get you. And so I went and took Shay, and me and Shay got to see Fiend, Bray Wyatt wrestle Seth Rollins. It was
my heart.
It was we also got to see New Day throw a bunch of pancakes at FTR and stuff. And so
Damn, that's wild.
WrestleMania had just passed.
Yep.
And so yeah, man, like how did you feel about WrestleMania?
Before we get into the WrestleMania card, the last local wrestling WWE event I went to, I was with Shay, but if I remember correctly, because I was flipping through my phone, I found pictures from it.
You know,
This was when Roman was still the big dog.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think I was there because I think I did security that night.
You did security that night, yeah. So I remember that one, but that's been several years ago. Roman was still the big dog. I think the final match they had was actually him and I want to say it was The Miz. It was a very weird card that night, but it was still pretty cool. And then my first WWE live event I went to was like roughly 2011, 2012-ish. And I don't remember that one vaguely, other than the fact that I had a counselor from school have the tickets. He wasn't able to go. He asked me if I was a fan. I said yes. So me and Shay got to go to that event. And the cool thing about that one is it was him and his fiance that were going to go. But they ended up having the Amarillo ISD hookup, and they got like floor seats. So we were actually on the floor, catty corner to the ring. I think it was like the southeast side of the ring. So we got pretty good seats for the entrance. And the only thing I can really remember to this day is the final match they had that night was John Cena against the Big Show in a steel cage match. And I remember hearing the card before we got in the Civic Center, and I was just like, how the fuck is Big Show going to be in a steel cage match? But it was fire. That match was insane. Of course, Cena won it. Sorry, Paul. We love you. But yeah, it was a fun match. It was a really fun match. But I hope WWE comes back to Amarillo or Canyon or somewhere soon. It's been a while since y'all been here. So
It sure has, man. I wouldn't mind going to check out a live event myself. I've seen wrestling here, but I've not been to a televised event yet.
Right.
I would love to.
Same. Definitely bucket list. There was a couple of times last year to where they were hitting like Dallas, or I think they even had a show, a Raw show that was filmed out in Waco, and I was just kind of like, but eventually. To go back to your other question about WrestleMania, though, I might hurt some people's feelings on this.
Oh, get them! I like it.
First night was far more superior than second night, and here's the reason why. That win that Cena got was dog shit.
Night two. So
I was expecting it. I just didn't think that it was going to go that way. I was expecting somebody else to show up instead of hearing the fucking WrestleMania 41 Fiend for the 50th millionth time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do know that now we're getting the whole Randy arc, which I think is going to bring more of Travis Scott and The Rock into the situation. I think we'll see them show back up and kind of get more of a backstory on why they are there specifically. I was not expecting Joe to actually show up.
I was thinking it was going to be Aleister Black.
See, I thought it was too. I thought it was going to be Aleister, which to me would have made the match a lot more grittier. Whenever we found out it was Joe, I knew it was going to be a squash match. They were going to give it to Randy, but it was just really cool to see after all these years, just Joe Hendry actually getting the recognition he deserves. Love him or hate him, he's just really big into the whole genre now.
So right now, like Joe Hendry is one of those top guys in the wrestling scene. It's like everybody goes, like you say, I believe everyone's gonna bust out into that Joe Hendry song. And so I get it. I'm with you. I feel like night one was way better than night two, but like so with like night one, you had first match was the tag team, right?
I don't think so. I think the first match was actually Jay.
Yeah, so it was
Jay and Gunther. Yeah.
So Jay winning the title from Gunther. I thought it was great. I really think Jay's gonna do some good things as heavyweight champion. And then the next match was like Jade and Naomi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the story for Jade and Naomi I really enjoyed until we got to WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was a squash match.
It was a definite squash match. I was expecting more from the heel Naomi turn. She's doing great things now, and I have a feeling we're not going to see the last of the whole Jade and Naomi thing. They haven't confirmed it for Backlash yet, but I think we are going to be getting a part 2 of that. It just makes sense. I also think that we're going to get Bianca more involved, which she needs to be more involved, because in my personal opinion, I think Bianca was the one that sold that whole storyline the most and the best. And now it's just Jade and Naomi, which they mesh together greatly, but it's just like, why is Bianca drifting off and doing other things now? Pull her back in, have that storyline revolve around possibly Naomi winning against Jade and doing a big upset, and then out of nowhere, here comes Bianca, just whoop that bitch's ass with her hair.
See, I believe that, so history repeats itself, and when Rikishi did that, I did it for The Rock bit, it turns out that I think The Rock had also had something to do with that. So I believe that the whole thing that happened between Naomi and Jade Cargill, I believe Bianca Belair was behind it. Bianca was all like, hey, it would be nice if somebody like pushed this bitch onto a car or some shit like that, And Naomi's like, okay, I can do that for you. You're giving me her title. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't see it going in any other way, because I mean, you're telling me that after all this time of her being the globally tag team partner she was, just to have Jade throw her on a car one time, she's gonna freak the hell out and proceed with caution. Blah 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 blah. You're telling me that was all on her mindset? I don't believe so.
Yeah,
I really think that she had somebody in her ear backing her, and the only reliable person is going to be Bianca. So I think that's going to come down to it towards Backlash and later on in the year. My favorite match of the whole night, 1 and 2. Some people loved it, some people didn't. I really enjoyed Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. I love what they're doing with Fatu. I can't wait to see what they're doing with the new bloodline. There's more Fatu family members confirmed to be signing contracts. So they're just going to add on to the Samoan dynasty. They're going to add newer people, more slick people from the indies, from the family in, and really would like to see if they're going to kind of tie in Roman with that too, because now that Roman doesn't have his wise man, where's Roman going to be? Is he going to try to get together with his family again? Is he going to work with Jacob? Is he going to work with Solo? Is he going to work with another Fatu or another Samoan later on down the line? So I really enjoyed that match, and I think we're going to expect big stuff from Jacob with this United States title. I don't think he's getting rid of it anytime soon.
Oh no. I feel like the reason why they gave Jacob the United States title is because I have a big feeling that LA Knight's about to get the big push that he needs.
Yeah.
I feel like now that Jay is champion, I feel like we're gonna get heel Knight, LA Knight back, and I feel like we're gonna get
That'd be pretty
I
sick.
feel like we're gonna get an LA Knight World Heavyweight Championship run.
I can
That's
see
what
that.
I feel.
can
But
see
I
that.
also see like, we're talking about more Fatus coming in and more of the Inouye bloodline coming in. I know from so far confirmed has been Hikalo.
Yep.
Zilla has been in
Zilla.
talks. There's
I think Zilla's actually confirmed. I was reading something on, I think it was a PW Insider, that he has laid down the foundation of the contract. It's just now where to throw him in.
right.
Where we're going to put him in is he's going to start off in main roster. I am hearing rumblings that he could possibly show up at the Worlds Collide, which is just right around the corner.
That one's NXT, right?
Yeah, NXT and AAA, but it would make sense to kind of throw him into the picture because then out of nowhere, there's another indie brand being branched out on top of this. And where is he going to lie? Is he going to lie more on the AAA side of things? Is he going to be in NXT? If he's going to be in NXT, how long is it going to take him to get up to main roster to deal with everybody else's bullshit? So
I wonder if he'll come in and kind of just do like an NXT takeover, and it's like Zilla Fatu takes over NXT, and then like stuff like that. So my thing is like night one, I loved the triple threat.
Yeah.
CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. CM Punk
that outcome,
finally getting his main event, and then Paul Heyman turning on not only CM Punk but his wise man too,
shit.
just to do this heel shit with Seth. It's like, this is why to me Seth Rollins is always one of the best heels in the game.
Right.
He's like, Seth Rollins is a good heel, like Triple H was always a good heel to me. Triple H is always one of those dudes who's all like, man, Triple H was that guy. He was that heel. And Dominic Mysterio now turning face.
Damn.
But think about
kid's pop
Oh,
from
yeah.
just a month ago, being hated, being booed out of stages, having probably one of the best factions in the game right now, with Liv too, which don't even get me started with Liv. Oh my God. I'm buzzing. Yeah. Just to see the dynamic that he had, and then still be in that faction, and then it's completely 180'd. I was not expecting him to get that big of a reaction. Like, shouts out to fucking Dom, dude,
Yeah,
from becoming the most hated fucking person in that industry to now what I would probably personally think will be one of the most beloved Intercontinental champions since Eddie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get those vibes. Like, Eddie was hated, and then now he's got the title. He's got everything he wants. He's got the girl. He's got his faction. So we think.
Right.
And yeah, dude, he's killing it. So I really was stoked with that win. That was another really close match for me for WrestleMania.
I have a big feeling that like Finn Balor is planning something to kind of like just screw him out of the judgment.
I don't think it's just Finn though.
Yeah, no,
bring up Liv. Do y'all remember whenever he had her key card?
Might.
Who's to say that Finn ain't out here getting him some love? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't know, but it's one of those things where like I feel like Finn Balor is gonna stick with he's gonna do something that's gonna get Dominic out of the Judgment Day. I feel like Dom will probably stay like this anti-hero type role because I feel like he might not feud with Rey Mysterio again.
Right.
Everyone's talking about it's Star Wars but backwards. The father's gonna redeem the son, or the son redeems the father. Now it's gonna be the father redeems the son. I don't know. I feel like if Dominic does anything like that, It's like, damn, dude. It's like you really did talk all that good shit for 3 years now.
Mhm.
It's like I wouldn't have. I was like, man, I just kind of just keep with oh, that's the deadbeat and this and that, and just kind of do your own thing. Make your own path as the Mysterio that you are,
Right.
because he was gonna mask up. He was gonna wear the mask and wrestle as Dominic,
Right.
Dom Mysterio. But he decided, he's like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. And so how he's done his thing as what he does now, I applaud him, man. I didn't like Dominic Mysterio at the beginning when he was green and baby face and all those other things. I like him now, and so I'm like, man, I'm like the Dirty Dom bit is you. You kill it as the Dirty Dom bit.
And he's still dirty. He's still playing his games and shit like that. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
everybody's just like, okay, we get it. This is legit. And to even bring up Ray, I was actually kind of really bummed out that he injured himself the night before. And I was really expecting the story between him and El Grande Americano to kind of develop. We all knew exactly what was going to be planned out there. But I was bummed. I was really stoked, though, that Triple H and the team was able to just kind of throw something together really quick. And it made the most obvious sense to have the announcement of AAA and then bring Penta in for his match, which he was a part of that match. And even though I think they showcased everyone, Finn, even Braun Breaker, and of course later on Braun shows up and is now a part with Seth and Paul Heyman, which that was a curve I was not expecting for the Monday night after WrestleMania. I was not expecting that at all, so that still blows my mind to even say. But to have Penta and then have Rey Fenix take in Rey Mysterio's spot, I think it was very kind of bittersweet, but it was also very, what's the word I'm trying to look for? I think it was very ballsy of WWE to do, because there's still people trying to figure out exactly who they were. But man, did both of them fucking showcase that night. Dude. Rey Fenix's match with, oh god, with
Americano.
Yeah, Americano was. I almost said somebody else's name, but I don't think they look anywhere close to Chad Gable, so I don't know. But yeah, dude, that match was fucking fire.
Honestly, Rey Fenix coming out in there and doing that, it's like, man, so it's like coming straight out of AEW, going straight into WWE. Because now, if you think about it, at first the Lucha Bros were, how do I say it? So they were packaged. At first, they were a package deal together. Well, Tony Khan, being the bitch made that he is, Tony Khan was like, "Nah, we're keeping Rey Fenix because he still owes this, this, and this, and this." But Ray was like, "Man, well, fine, you can keep that, but I'm not wrestling."
Right.
And he didn't. He didn't show up to TV. He didn't show up to nothing. So pretty much sat at home and got paid until finally Tony Khan was like, "Well, all right, I'll release you from your contract."
Right.
So at first, it was the Lucha Bros were both kind of supposed to come to WWE at the same time. Well, then once they got word that Tony Khan was like, "Nah, we're keeping Ray," he was like, "All right, then Penta came and and so it's like Penta's been killing it."
Yeah.
But like now seeing Rey Fenix come over and kill it over here too, over in the WWE side. I'll be the first one right now. When AEW started, I was all in on AEW.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted AEW to succeed in every shape possible, in every way possible. Unfortunately, AEW has done things that makes it hard to root for them.
Yep.
So they have their creative team and their storyline team is current wrestlers on the roster.
Yep.
Which means, from the stories and stuff that I've heard in emails or not emails, but interviews that I've read and stuff like that, pretty much what it is current roster wrestlers trying to put themselves over.
Right.
And so it's like AEW has all this great talent coming from WWE that they fumbled. Mm-hmm. A good example is CM Punk.
Yep.
AEW fumbled CM Punk. You had the biggest name in you had the biggest name in professional wrestling. You had the biggest draw in professional wrestling, and you flopped. Like, I'm sorry, you flopped. You fucked up.
Yep.
It's like CM Punk says, it's like you put me in this position to be this guy, and he's like, I didn't want that. He's all like all these guys running around talking shit, being unprofessional. When I go and confront them about it, then they want to, they want to be this way.
Yep, and then they use it for a storyline too. Shortly after he leaves, it's like, okay,
yeah, and
what are you trying to prove? Because shortly after, he did an interview and basically said his 2 cents. And then when they showed their side of the story, it basically confirmed that Punk wasn't lying to us. It was the exact same thing he told us before. Yeah. So why put a knife in your back like that? Like, I still don't understand that. Yeah, to me, that's the biggest botch in wrestling history. Is to have the Young Bucks be like, oh, well, here's what really happened. And it's exactly what Punk said outside of the company happened. Like, yeah. I never got that. It didn't work.
Not only was that one of the biggest botches that they did, let's go back to AEW's Revolution, and it's Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega in an exploding barbed wire death match. Mm-hmm. And the finish was sparklers. Can you imagine? Now, I want you to put yourself in my shoes. In fact, let me hold on, because my wife will tell you too.
Oh boy!
1 second.
While he's doing that, let me tell you how I feel about that. Tony Khan decided, oh God, all the party cities are going in bankrupt. So here's what we're going to do about the exploding barbed wire match. We're just going to take them of all their sparklers and call it good.
Do you remember? We were living in Canyon, and it was the AEW pay-per-view that I had bought. And the ending was supposed to be this big-ass explosion of the ring, and it just turned out to be sparklers?
Vaguely.
Okay. Do you remember how pissed off I was?
Very.
Yeah. Like, she shits you not. I imagine, like I said, imagine spending $60 on a pay-per-view. And now, don't get me wrong, that pay-per-view was good. All the matches were good. Even the main event of the exploding barbed wire death match was good.
Yeah, I remember you being really pissed off.
Yeah, and so that ending, though, they set up the hit. They pretty much handcuffed Jon Moxley and, it's all this other shit, and he just sits there, and he can't get out of the ring. Here comes Eddie Kingston for the save.
Shit.
Eddie Kingston lays down on top of Jon Moxley to do the finish. And then as soon as it hits one, everyone's like, oh God, here it comes. And it's like,
Happy New Year.
Yeah. And so Jon Moxley actually told an interview, he's like, dude, I was so fucking pissed. He's like, Eddie sold it the best. Like, he's like, Eddie sold it. Yeah. He's like, I didn't sell it. He's like, I got up and I was like, what the kind of shit is this? And so, you know what I mean? Like, man. Not only did you flop CM Punk and box yourself and put a knife in your back trying to release that footage, you fucked up numerous fucking shit, and your people are getting fucked up. There's a lot of injured wrestlers on that roster because they all want to do these crazy spots, and it's just like, you can't do it.
Like you brought up Jon Moxley, like just recently the spot that he did with Edge with the freaking barbed wire bat and stuff like that, or the plank or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like I commend him for doing that because to me personally, and it might sound brutal, but I've always been an ECW fan. I've always liked the hardcore style. It was cool to see that. But at what cost though? Like he's at that age now to where a spot like that, you can clearly tell he was expecting it to hurt, but he wasn't expecting it to go that way. I don't think it was supposed to stick in his back like that. I don't think that Edge knew that was going to really happen that way, or Adam Copeland, whoever, whatever. But Cope, that's the stupidest fucking name they could ever done. They just should have kept it Adam Copeland, or they should have just fucking left it rated R superstar. Edge. Come back to the other side. They got Cookies and Triple H over there, okay? Other than that, dude, like, I haven't caught up with AEW since the last time I talked to you about it, and that was Christmas a few years ago with the Three Amigos. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like the storylines, no matter how good the talent is, you can just tell which storylines just kind of, and then which one's a complete fucking roller coaster. It's great, and then it goes to shit, and then that fucking particular superstar wrestler gets pissed, and then they try to go back and work with somebody else that's dealing with some shit, and then that becomes shit. It's pretty bad. To give you a good example of what they're doing with the Acclaimed now, I'm not about it, dude. I wish they just would have left them with the freaking guns. I wish they would have kept that freaking hip hop persona. Instead, they're splitting them, and they're two different people now. And I get that they're two different people in real life, but like just the characters don't mesh, and it's just boring as shit. I don't care about it. Even if you put the fucking titles on them, which they need, I don't care about where they're at story-wise.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's one of those things where it's like, why'd you do that? You know, it's like what sense of that? But I mean, the last time I watched AEW, I was in Dallas. I was in Dallas for training for my job, the one that I just left.
Yeah.
A year ago, and I was sitting in this hotel room and I'm watching AEW. And Jay White and the Bang Bang Gang comes out. So it's Jay White and the Guns.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out and he's cutting this promo. And Jay White gets quiet and I hear in the crowd is, who wrote this shit?
It's the truth, though.
So it's like,
it's the truth.
It's like, you know what I mean? You can't argue with that. It's one of those, it's like, well, shit, you know, like, yeah, who wrote this shit, you know? So.
And it just goes to show that no matter how much money you have, no matter what kind of ego or image you have, Tony Khan, it's just going to come back and bite you in the ass whenever you have so much potential with your talent and the stories are just fucking weird nursery rhyme style bullshit that no one fucking gives a shit about. And then you have those said superstars, Aleister Black, for instance, who had an amazing run with his faction for the House of Black, had an amazing title run until you were like, okay, cool, so episode of Collision, here's what we're going to do. Fuck you and your faction, fuck you and your title, and we're just going to give it to somebody random. You make them leave. You make them turn your back on you. And then you squash and you ruin great fucking talent like Ricochet. I have not liked anything they've done with Ricochet since he's been over there.
The only thing Ricochet has done good is be a heel.
Yeah. He's a great heel, and he could have been a great heel in WWE, and I get why he wasn't. That high flyer, futuristic, babyface persona that he had in with Samantha Irving, who's no longer in the company, because they had them very, very much meshed together. If he was in a match and she was announcing, they would make it very known that they were together. It's fine. It still made a great story. It's still made for good entertainment. Now that he's heel and he's doing his fucking wannabe Dexter stuff, great. But he's not meshing with anybody else's story correctly, and it just fucking sucks.
Well, it's like, I think AEW, I just thought about AEW, they had the Hardys, and you flopped big time with the Hardys. Now, I get it. Jeff is one of those people that he flops. I'm sorry, Jeff flops. He flops.
I love Jeff, man, but it's just generations of Jeff. He's one of those wrestlers you could go back and you can watch from like mid-2000s and their title reign in, and even his solo stuff, he's fucking fantastic. But he's like every other human. He's got his demons, and his first TNA and Impact run, fucking hell, that's when everybody started realizing that he had issues and he had problems outside of the ring. And then they brought him back to WWE, and they used that to their advantage, and they used that to the story. And I think Jeff started realizing, fuck, I need to chill. I need to get some help. These people actually do care. And AEW didn't. Whenever they went over to AEW, it was just pretty much Tony Khan like, fuck yeah, you're Jeff Hardy. Let's see what I can do with you.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything with either one of them.
No, he pretty much got. Well, Jeff. So Jeff, was on an episode and he kind of did what he did and kind of just like spaced out, fucking out of his mind. I don't know if he was drunk or high, but he did what he did. So they're like, all right, Jeff, we're gonna put you on leave until you get the help that you need. So he went, did that. So he was gone for about a year. Right after he probably had 3 matches and then he was gone.
Yeah.
Because he had to do that. Well, then he came back and he was a manager for Matt, and Matt was in a feud with Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara did something where he almost hit Jeff in the head, and Matt Hardy threw a big old fit about it. So Matt and them just quit showing up to television and shit like that.
Was Matt doing the woken, broken gimmick at that time? Okay.
I think he was doing like Matt's. I think it was like Matt Hardy's Matt family-owned business, whatever.
Oh, like more of the compound kind of stuff.
No, not even that. It was he had Private Party as his faction.
Oh, okay. See, I never watched any of that.
So
I wasn't aware.
So the broken Matt Hardy, he quit doing that because right when he debuted in AEW, it was right into COVID. So the broken and woke Matt Hardy only works with the crowd because the crowd is what pops that character, that pops that gimmick. He couldn't do it in AEW, so it didn't work automatically because he debuted at a shades on.
Yeah.
But when he left AEW, him and Jeff, they both went to TNA. TNA is the best place for him.
Mm-hmm.
TNA has been kicking ass since they've returned.
Yeah.
Impact. I mean, I guess it's all right. I don't watch very much Impact.
Right.
I mean, Ring of Honor is always still good, but AEW owns Ring of Honor, so it's bound to go terrible at some point. Well, yeah. But my guy, we were sitting at an hour and 35 minutes. We can keep going, or you can call it right here because it is 3:50.
I mean, shit, to kind of continue on with the wrestling stuff real quick, because, I mean, I loved WrestleMania. Not fond of what they're doing with AEW. I haven't watched anything since that spot that Moxley did with Edge, and it was cool while it lasted, but I can also just kind of see that it was one of those things to where they're just pushing it to get the views because nobody's wanting to see the trash-ass writing that TBS or Tony Khan or anybody that's with AEW is pushing out to these very talented artists. So that's why you're going to probably see a lot of these artists drift back to WWE. And quite frankly, it's gotten to the point to where if I'm not watching anything WWE, I've been kind of branching out and going back to the indies and trying to find different promotions. Like I'm really liking what Deadlock is doing. I like DPW a lot. I've checked into some of their matches, and I really like some of the potential that they have for like people like Bojack. Bojack's fucking crazy. His matches, every time I see him, there's one spot or multiple spots. I'm just like, God damn.
Right.
Like, fucking hell, you really took that? Or they took that? Like, a big motherfucker, and he's just faster than Braun Breaker, and he's bigger. And I go back and I watch some of the GCW stuff. I'll go back and watch like early ROH just when I'm feeling a little froggy. I'll go back and watch like ROH matches with Kevin Owens back when he was Steen going against Samoa Joe, or like early ROH CM Punk stuff, just to kind of get my head back into that, because that's where he was before he became the straight edge hero that we know him as. So
you gotta go back and watch ROH. You gotta go back and watch ROH Kevin Steen versus the Necro Butcher.
Dude, see, I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm gonna have to go find it. One of my favorite matches that he ever did was ROH, the ladder match with him and Sammy. That fucking match was brutal. The final spot to where he put him through the barricaded ladders and just how high up they were. I was like, God damn. So yeah, just anything hardcore and extreme I'll gravitate to for sure. But fuck, dude, WrestleMania, it was hit or miss for me. But I can tell you right now, if it was a McMahon. If it was a McMahon WrestleMania, it would have been probably a completely different story between both of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would have been the McMahon Mania would have been. McMahon got super predictable.
Yeah.
And the way he would book matches just got way predictable. So it's like this isn't working. And so that's why I'm glad we're in the Triple H area.
And sadly enough, I think it was predictable because he knew that so much stuff was going to eventually come out and all the issues that he's currently having. And I mean, I'm not going to badmouth the guy because he did create this company that I've watched since I was a kid. And even my parents watched when they were kids. So, I mean, I give the dude his flowers. And a lot of the people that are in the company are still connected with him because they're family.
Yeah.
So I get it. Sometimes in life you have somebody that fucks up and it's just really hard to kind of get over the hump. I've fucked up in life and I've been getting over humps. So, but with that being said, man, like if it would have been a completely different ball game, like I can already envision it now. Fucking the headliner would have been like fucking Bret Hart going against R-Truth or some weird bullshit like that. Like why? Why are we doing this for the 24/7 championship out of all things? Like, come on.
WrestleMania main event would have been Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock
doing
Lesnar.
something.
Brock Lesnar against Hulk Hogan, the AKA the naming the dildo match. It's like, if y'all don't get that reference, look it up. You can find it on Google. You'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah. All right, my man. We are out of time.
All right.
We're sitting at an hour 40.
Woo!
Yeah.
I gotta piss.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I gotta piss too. So I'm like, I gotta call it.
Oh yeah,
But
man. No worries. It was fun, dude.
Dude, I had fun. We're gonna have to do this again.
Fuck yeah.
Be on the lookout. I actually just confirmed my next episode. Lead singer of Atomic Cheesecake will be stopping by.
Oh shit!
Pacos Chingasos. Yeah. Oh, Stephen Miller, Steve-O. Hopefully we can get sometime this week. If he's free, we can do it. If not, it's next week. But I do plan to have more episodes of Pacos Chingasos out. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do whatever the hell you got to do to make sure that Pacos Chingasos podcast is what pops up when you look it up.
Hell yeah, man.
But like I said, man, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
of course,
y'all.
guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all haven't tuned in, thank y'all for watching on YouTube. Your boy Shilo here is basically here to promote the Expo, 3rd, 4th, Rockwell Event Center. We'll be playing the 4th along with a lot of good friends, including like Discarcia, Special Case, Atomic Cheesecake. So just go support us, man. We have a lot of good stuff coming y'all's way. We're still recording. That's going to eventually come to terms and grow a new leg, and hopefully we'll have something released for you guys by the end of the year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, man.
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
Let's go.
Yeah. We'll see
Appreciate
y'all
it,
next
man.
time, man.
Thank y'all, guys.
Yeah.